Luigi's Mansion 2 serves as one of the best 3DS games out there, and really is a standout showcase on what the handheld can offer. It was also a welcome return to a special game that launched the Gamecube in style, so as the 3DS is nearing the end of its lifespan, it's nice to see Nintendo has given the original Luigi's Mansion a second chance with this remake of the 17-year-old game, and it does make for a wonderful trip down memory lane. The original Luigi's Mansion was certainly a departure from the normal sort of games Nintendo made at the time. For starters, this was the first game Luigi was put in the starring role since the game Mario was missing, and the gameplay was also something people hadn't seen from Nintendo before. Luigi's Mansion for 3DS is a from-the-grounds-up remake for the handheld that is made by Grezzo, the team behind the Zelda 3DS remakes and last year's delightful Ever Oasis. It sees the game having a whole new lick of paint with various graphical improvements, new controls, multiplayer, as well as 3D support. Luigi's Mansion's funny little tale sees the scaredy cat Luigi receiving a free mansion for entering a competition he didn't even enter. Anyway, Luigi enters this old abandoned mansion only to discover it's chock-a-block full of ghosts, and they've kidnapped Mario of all things. So Luigi teams up with a mad scientist called Dr. Egad to rid the mansion of its ghost problem and to free Mario once and for all. It's a funny little tale that isn't taxing, but Luigi's constantly being terrified of everything is certainly a highlight. Sees Luigi moving around the mansion, searching room by room for various clues to move the story forward, as well as dispatching plenty of different ghosts along the way. Instead of exploring multiple mansions like the sequel, there's just one mansion here, and instead of the mission structure that the sequel has, the game lets you explore the mansion at your leisure, which I actually really like, and I prefer this approach to exploring the mansion than its sequel. One thing that really does go against this game is its controls. Instead of copying the rather decent controls from the sequel, the game has its own different control scheme and it can be incredibly annoying at times to control. You move Luigi with the control pad and you aim with either the D-pad or the C-stick on the new 3DS or the new 2DS consoles, and while it does work, it isn't really ideal as it does feel really quite awkward to aim, and ultimately it just makes me think this would have been much better suited for the Switch than the 3DS due to these controls. Luigi's Mansion does feel significantly shorter compared to its rather lengthy sequel, weighing in at around 6 to 8 hours. It's a pretty short experience. But there's a more harder mode that unlocks when you complete the game for the first time. This harder mode is based on the one that was included in the European version of the Gamecube game. The harder mode moves things around and makes things really more difficult compared to the rather carefree difficulty of the normal game. The game also has a fun little co-op mode which allows you and another player to explore the mansion and hunt ghosts together. It's a fun way to play the game as one player is Luigi whilst the other is Dr. Egad's strange new creation called Guigi, which is basically a jelly version of Luigi. The multiplayer works, but be prepared for plenty of slowdown whilst in multiplayer that can be quite a turn off. The multiplayer is a great idea that I can see being built upon in the third game that is currently in development for Switch. Presentation-wise, the game has seen a fairly graphical makeover from the original game. Luigi's character model is now based on his current appearance, and the other character models have also been improved greatly. The mansion and its surrounding grounds have had a bit of a spruce up. Developer Grezzo has certainly done a good job here. The game is also one of the very few current 3DS titles that actually enable 3D visuals, which is certainly a nice touch considering the original GameCube version was going to have the same feature. It isn't all good news, however, as the frame rate is a bit all over the place. Playing on the original 3DS and 2DS models, the game frame rate does drop regularly, but on the new 3DS and new 2DS models, the frame rate is better in gameplay, but the frame rate does get very choppy in cutscenes. Conclusion time now, and it's great to see the original Luigi's Mansion finally available on another console. It's a very fun game with plenty of charm and humour, and its short length does make it a perfect fit for the 3DS. But what really does go against it is that the controls can be a right pain to use across all the 3DS consoles. That does really make me wonder whether this should have been a Switch game instead. That's not to say that the game is bad. It's a very enjoyable game with a great graphical upgrade and nice 3D features, but the game does pale in comparison to its more enjoyable sequel. If you've always wanted to play the first game, this is certainly the best version, So that's why I'm giving Luigi's Mansion for 3DS a 7.5 out of 10 with the title of good. Thank you for watching my review, like, rate and subscribe, and until next time, happy gaming, bye!